And here we are. It is 3 p.m. live from New York City. I'm gonna give you guys the view from my office really quick. If I turn the camera. Yep, this is what I see. Lexington and 57th Street. So, today's topic, nutrition. Can you guys hear me? Sound good? We're gonna cover a lot today, so you have to be able to hear me. Sound good? Okay. So nutrition, it's an interesting animal, right? Like never before has there been so much knowledge out there about nutrition, yet never have people struggled so much with their food. So if you ask anybody what is their biggest shortcoming when it comes to developing the physique they want, it's always the food. Always, right? Most people's workouts are actually quite alright. They have some sort of a split, they go quite regularly. But if you're really honest, the majority of people in the gym don't look like they work out. That's just the truth. And the reason for that is food. Like the diets are just not. And part of that is behavioral. Like people just like to eat junk food. But it's not like everybody's lazy and wants to eat junk food. The bigger problem is information overload when it comes to nutrition. And the fitness industry has a vested interest in keeping people dependent. So they're saying, hey Scott or Julie, like you need me and you gotta pay me all the time so I can give you new products and antioxidants and goji berries. And so there's low carb, there's high carb, there's sunlight diets, there's grapefruit diets. People are like, what? So they give up, right? So in this video, what I want to do is I want to give you the tools to manage dieting, even though I don't like the word, or nutritional intake. So the first nugget is actually quite straightforward. So repeat after me. Protein is awesome. Fats, healthy fats are good. Carbohydrates are tricky little buggers. Okay, if you can remember this, you're in a pretty good path. So, from there on, there's really two things that people want to do. They want to either get leaner or get bigger, aka more muscular, right? So, from there on, you take, so you want to get bigger, you take your goal weight times 16. That's your caloric intake. So somebody wants to be 200 pounds, that's 200 times 16, that would be 3,200 calories, if I'm not mistaken. So then that person would go and set protein, the old bro science, 1 gram per pound of body weight, hey Anthony, is still accurate, right? So it gives you 200 grams. Carbohydrates, you can eat a little bit more, you know, probably like 200. So then he'd be at about 2,000 calories and he fills the rest from fat. If he's cutting weight, it would be times 12. Okay? So if his goal weight is 200 pounds and he's heavier, then 200 pounds times 12 is 2,400 calories. Same thing, protein at about 1 gram, carbohydrate would be starting at 1 gram, and then the rest is fats. If he has or she has to gain or lose more than 20 pounds, it would have to be in increments. So if you are, let's say, 120 pounds and you want to be 200, you're looking at a multi-year transformation, sorry. By the same token, if you have to lose, you know, several hundred pounds, that's the same thing. So I had a gentleman who was 440 and went down to 180, but it took us 2 years. So that's not something you can do in one shot, okay? So that's your macros, how you set them up, depending whether you're bulking or cutting, okay? The next question is, we've always been told, if you don't eat every 3 hours, you die, right? That's it. Your metabolic furnace goes. That's total nonsense, okay? Meal frequency is directly dependent on caloric intake. So, a larger mammal, like yours truly, who certain times of the year eats about 5,000, maybe 5,500 calories, I need 6 meals, right? Because then even each meal is still 900 calories. let's say you have a smaller person who only diets on, let's say, 1,200 calories, and that person cuts it down into 6 meals at 200 calories. Well, that's an apple. Like, why would you even sit down, right? So that makes zero sense. So the thermic effect of food is unchanged. We have always been told, like, oh, if you eat more often, you stoke the furnace. That's not true. If you eat 3 big meals, you get 3 big spikes of your furnace. If you eat 6 little meals, you get 6 little spikes of the furnace. The end result is the same. In general, you have to understand that fat loss and all this, it has to be seen on a weekly tangent, okay? So what you eat one day or so is not all that important. It has to be on the weekly tangent. So no, you don't have to set clocks in the middle of the night and eat at 3 p.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, what have you. That's complete nonsense, okay? So, you do not, repeat after me, need to eat every 3 hours. You shouldn't have greater breaks than 6 hours. But for instance, sometimes I see 5, 6 clients in a row and I just can't sit down. So what I do is I merge 2 meals in the morning and then I kind of make do, and then when the last client is done, I eat. Because people don't pay me to see me chewing, right? So you just do the best you can. Now, food quality, does it matter? Very little, okay? So, if you have certain ethical beliefs, such as like you only want to eat farm-raised animals and so on and so forth, that's fine. It will not influence your physique to a great deal, okay? So the breakdown should be like this. 80% of your food should be prepared by you or somebody who's good at it, meaning like a meal prep service if you can afford it, or if you're very wealthy, a personal chef, or I don't know, what have you. 10% can be like protein bars, protein powders, stuff like on the go. And then the other 10% can be man-made goodness, such as, processed foods or so. But whether you eat all natural or you go to Whole Foods or not, has a very, very small impact on the physique. If it makes you feel better, by all means, you can do so, okay? Cheat meal. I don't like it for the simple reason that the cheat meal means that you're depriving yourself of something. So I tell people, like, whatever it is that you want to eat, work it in, okay? So let's say if you're craving French toast or so, then you just make the carbs work somewhere and you just put it in, okay? Cheat meal means to me like I'm living a miserable life and I can't wait to have this and break out of my miserable life. With that mindset, your nutritional plan will not be successful, okay? So if, like I said, like your brother's getting married or so, then you just make room calories, like you eat a little bit less during the day, and then when the wedding comes, you eat whatever they have there, right? But like the term cheat meal or so, that this, to me, that's something that then people go overboard and destroy 8,000 calories because they hate the way they have to eat, and then you're not going to be successful. Nutrient timing matters not all that much, but it matters a little bit. So here's how it goes. Carbohydrates have to be eaten around the workout because they do 2 things: performance and recovery. So you eat them before and eat them after. It's like a 5-hour window, depending how many carbs you get. Fats you eat away from the workout because they slow down digestion. Protein you eat even during the day. But it's not that all that important. Supplements. Everybody wants to know. Supplements do very, very little. Okay? So, if you take out protein powders and protein bars, which is more like food, there is very little left that actually works. The supplements that work are in no particular order: caffeine, it's a great supplement; creatine, that actually has some research; ZMA, because a lot of us are deficient in zinc and magnesium. Being German, I like Wobenzym for the joints, for digestion. And because I live in the Northeast, where it gets miserable and really dark, I like vitamin D. That's it. The rest is useless. Buy food, okay? 2 things are really powerful: food and drugs. Drugs are optional, food is a must. Food beats any supplement any given day. Not even close. I always tell young guys, like, don't go to GNC, don't go to a vitamin shop, go straight to Costco. Drop your money there. That's really where it's at, okay? So nutrient timing, we covered that. Now, if you're putting it all together, so I'm not really great at drawing, but so this is 100% of your nutritional success, okay? 40% is your calories, your caloric intake has to be correct. Another 40% is your macro breakdown, so that's 80. You can see where I'm going with this. Then another 10% is nutrient timing, and then 5% is food quality, and 5% is supplements. In other words, if you can somehow figure out your macros at the gas station, you will beat the guy who over or under eats at Whole Foods and has the coolest supplement ever. Okay? The macro breakdown, regardless where it comes from, whether you are a vegan, a vegetarian, a pescatarian, your food sources, it really does not matter. That's what determines your physique. Everything else is really white noise. So like I always said, in bodybuilding, when you watch my training videos, there are two things that matter. Activation of the muscle, like getting the muscle to work properly, not just heave-hoeing weights, and nutrition. Those two things are the single biggest factor determining how you look. Everything else, like, remember the antioxidant craze? Like when people bought like goji berries for like $250, half a pound, something crazy like that, and everybody was like chasing antioxidants. You know what has the most antioxidants by far, like not even close? Anybody? Wild guess? Or from the audience? Cheap red wine. The stuff that comes in the gallon glass bottle, or even in like the cartoons, the cartonage. Okay? So all that stuff, it's just, don't waste your time and money. Like, figure out your macros. Like, am I bulking? Am I cutting? Set your protein, set your carbs, and set your fats. And then find a training program that works for you. And all the rest, like, all the fat diets and the green drinks and all this stuff, you don't need it. You don't need anything to detox either, by the way. Like, your body is great at detoxing. It's called liver and kidneys. So our ancestors, right, they didn't have refrigerators. So they ate food that probably was halfway rotten, and guess what, they survived. Like, think what people do to themselves. Like, they take drugs, they take medication, whatever, and they still function. They drink alcohol, right? So like, detox teas, cleanses, that is so brain dead. Don't bother. I do agree with having a good probiotics. Like, I always forget the name, it's a European one, has to be stored in the fridge. Or if you can eat like fermented foods, like being German, sauerkraut actually has a really high, probiotics counter. Or like kimchi, that really helps you. It's digesting food better. But like all the other stuff, like when I see people like down here, like on 57th Street, like dropping like $19 for a green drink, I'm like, dude, what a waste. What a waste. You don't need it, okay? Your body is fine, okay? So, macros, figure out the macros. And then eat the carbs around the workout, the fats away from it. And that's really all you need to do, okay? All the other stuff, whatever, like the magazine's hype or this, that, the other, it's all white noise, okay? It's just a waste of money, okay? So, thank you for watching. Tomorrow I'll be taking my daughter to the US Open, so there will be no video. Sorry guys, and you have a good one. Thanks.